Alright, so with Ravana being reworked and you guys requesting a lot, here's a new build slash guide video for Ravana. Now, by no means is this the best and final and, the best build to go in for all situations. It's just a build that worked for me and just showing you it in case it just works for you. But in general, I've been doing a lot of testing with Ravana and just keeping an eye out for Ravana players and seeing what works for them and what works for me. And in general, I came to the conclusion that Ravana does pretty good when you build him bruiser slash tanky, and he's not so much of a basic attack dependent god as he used to be. Sort of like what happened to Bologna when she first came out. It was just all attack speed, lifesteal, and you just hit 3 and you just like whip people away. With numerous nerfs and things like that, Bologna became more of a utility slash bruiser basic god, and that's how Ravana is now, I feel. So, just to kind of show you how the abilities work, not much how they work, but just to see how the physical power scalings from your items, it goes towards your abilities pretty good. I have 40 physical power, and we can see 38 of that is in R1, and 100% of our physical power goes to our ultimate, things like that. So he gets a good amount of his damage from his abilities as well as the scaling. I personally like to level up his 1 the most, because it does an incredible amount of damage and also does a good slow, but that doesn't scale, but the damage does, and it is a lot. And then I like to lean towards leveling up my 2, just so I can lower the cooldown and be immune. It's like having a Shanga 2 where you can just be immune and CC, things like that, and this also does damage. So it's a really good ability to level up, and then I level up my 3 the last. Now, I don't play Conquest, so I don't know what the exact right level order you should do for Conquest. I just don't really do Conquest. And as well as his passive, if you do not know this, he does have a shield equal to 5% of his maximum HP, stacks 3 times, so building Bruiser also complements that quite well, because obviously tanky items are also going to give you HP for the most part, and that gives you more shield. So there's a few ways to get that shield up. You can either use your basic attacks, 8 of them, or you can use your abilities. So if you want to go the ability route, you can go into cooldown reduction. If you don't, not the worst things, your cooldowns aren't too long without cooldown reduction, because you have 6 seconds on your 1, your ulti goes down cooldown wise, greater warnings, and then your overhead kick also goes down to cooldown. So you don't have to necessarily build cooldown reduction to get your passive going if you don't really want to. So my personal build is I go into warrior tabby boots, just looking for just a lot of physical power for our abilities to spike a damage, and then I like to go into Hither Urchint, my very next item. Reason being is it does a lot of protection, or just gives you a lot of protection, and if you're going to go into this item, you probably want to get it early on in the game, so that way you can get the stacks early as possible. When it's fully stacked up, which I do have it now, it is 65 to both protections for physical and magical. That is a lot in just one item. You got health and mana, a really great item to go in early game. After that, Frostbound Hammer I still feel like is a core item for Ravana. He does really good with it. Though the slow with this 1 is not that amazing, it's only 25%, so it's not the best thing to just chase down somebody. I mean, you do have a root, but I just feel like Frostbound Hammer is just a really great item to just help stick to your targets. After going to Frostbound Hammer, Ravana seems to be doing pretty good with the Midgardian Mail. I really like this because I have, of course, a good amount of HP and physical protection. But the passive is really good, because when you go in on somebody, regardless if they're physical or magical, they may try to throw some basic attacks at you. Once they do, there's a chance for them to have their movement speed slow, which makes them even easier to just like chase down, as well as it slows their attack speed. So if they're attack speed dependent god, then they're going to do less DPS to you, and you can just continue chasing them down and beat them on that 1v1 situation. Next, I went straight into the Runeforge Hammer because it's really cheap, 2k gold for a lot of stats, a lot of HP, physical protection, and a really great passive to utilize all of our physical protection items and converts 15% of it to additional physical power. Without this item, you have 65 physical power. Buy it, it spikes up to 103. So that's actually pretty good. And then the last item, I wasn't really sure what to go in. There's a lot of different items you can go into your last item. It could be situational, like if you need more magical defense or whatever. I ended up going for Soul Eater, reason being because I had a lot of HP, life steal is always great, attack speed. It just has so many stats for a fairly low cost of only 2,000. It has a lot of stats to it. Other items you can go into for your last item, you can go into something like Winged Blade. Again, a really cheap item, has tons of stats for you. Also has that cooldown reduction like I talked about. That's a pretty good item to go into. If you're looking to spike up your basic attack damage, you can go in the Shin size, though that is kind of costly at the end game. Or of course, Execution. That's another really great item to go into. Or if you just want to be really be a beefcake, you can go straight into the Spirit Robe, and that's going to dramatically spike up your defense. You're going to almost cap on your physical protections. You can always go into Medal of Renewal, always a great item. So the last couple of items just really vary on your playstyle. Now my playstyle, I'm not too aggressive. I normally just like to I like to assist our just front line, so I'll just like to stick to our tank, whatever, and just kind of help with the front line and see if I can get some pretty good roots with that pretty good range on his 3. So that's my playstyle. I like to just be tanky and just really look for good opportunities to just dive in and just slowly beat somebody up. Also peel for our backline. This is my playstyle. As well as actives you see here, I have the Shield of the Underworld. It works really great again when you're just trying to just box a couple people and you just pop that and they can't lifesteal off of you. If they're a lifesteal dependent god, reflects a good amount of damage. And if they just keep attacking you, they're also going to proc the Midgardian Mail on themselves, and it's just a bad time for them. So that's it for my personal build. If you've been having a lot of success with your Ravan, please let us know who your build is in the comment section below. It's just what I like to run for my Ravan. It does like penetration, things like that, but I just like to go for just raw physical power on our for our abilities. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.